Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending now. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternate Ending, discovering good movies one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Rob Jarsinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Carrie Jarsinski, and looking very comfortable, our critic in residence, Tim Brayton.
You are treating my butt so well right now, Rob. I can't even tell you how comfy I feel right now.
What does it feel like?
It feels very smooth and soft and sort of clutching. It's like hoisting my buttocks up, like, you know, sort of a hammock feeling.
Yeah, we splurged for you to
I
actually...
splurged too, thank you.
Yeah, we all splurged so that you could actually have a place to sit, which is different than our normal podcasting
I know.
setup.
I have a very fancy office chair as opposed to that sort of rickety, feels like it's about to fall apart kitchen chair that Carrie is currently sitting on.
It is. One leg is a little bit broken, but I just try and keep my heavier side on the other side.
Yeah, generally we either have that or Tim is hanging from the ceiling from hooks, like in, what's that?
The Cell.
The Cell, which I still need to see, with Carrie.
Yeah,
Carrie
that
likes
sounds
it.
good.
That's his normal. That's your normal podcasting.
Yeah, but
position.
no, now I can lean back a little bit. I can do one of these, which is going to be really bad for the microphone, so I probably shouldn't do that.
Don't do that.
But no, it's good. It's good. It's got some. It feels like it's got some of that lumbar support going on.
It's as almost as if you're wealthy enough, like a mogul, to afford a chair.
Right? I didn't know this was going to be one of those days you were on, Rob, but it is, clearly.
So yeah, we're going to be looking for this top 5 episode at our top 5 movie moguls, not the snow variety, which many people joked about. Things like Ski Patrol.
Then I had better rework my list. Give me a minute.
Yeah, me too.
But needless to say, I assume that the moguls on our list could afford nice chairs to podcast with.
It's not just money, Rob, that makes you a mogul.
Oh, tell me, Care. What makes define?
I'm not ready. Are we just jumping right in?
Jumping right in.
Whoa.
Have we warmed up? Are we done with our banter yet?
No.
Oh, no,
I feel like Carrie
away.
I have to be
You
sweating.
are the worst segue ruiners.
I know.
Well, that's my job.
I have to have a thick sweat going before we can jump in.
All right, what's going to get you nice and sweaty?
No, I don't even know. You can't just push sweat on me.
I did a whole thing where I implied that your husband was cradling my buttocks with his hand.
Where do you even take that, though?
I mean,
I don't even know. Although I did tell, so Tim and I put this chair together. I want to give kudos to Tim. Tim and I did put this chair together with 0 arguments.
Okay.
We got along the whole time.
To be fair, isn't it like in 2 pieces and you just put some bolts in?
To be fair,
you
and I got in arguments
it was
for
in
less.
5 pieces,
Okay.
and you had to put bolts in.
All right.
You and I have gotten into arguments assembling with far less screws, for sure. And there was no arguments.
I will admit that when it comes to you, I have like less patience than I do for the average person. But I would say that's reciprocal. That you also treat me slightly differently than others.
You know what? If I'm being honest, I'd say that's accurate.
Yeah.
No, you do bother me more.
Well, this is the point of married life, isn't it? To
Yes.
silently resent the person that you've trapped yourself with for the rest of your days on this
that's
earth.
good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Quietly, sometimes loudly.
But I did tell Tim also, and you've probably forgotten, that this is how we met, amongst a chair.
Yeah, chair spinning. Did Tim do some chair spinning?
I
He
did some
did.
chair spinning.
I'm gonna put it on social media.
Presently be available on our social, actually. A very, I think, good video of me spinning in a chair.
Did he hit your record?
Did he hit my record of three
No, I
revolutions?
think you did like 12 or something once, right?
I had 13 revolutions.
13, yeah.
But what I want to tell you is, and Tim and I had this conversation, and I'm just coming to realize it now. I always thought I was a failure. You had like 36 revolutions. And what I'm coming to find is, it's just my body. Tim said that I'm a failure.
It is my belief
because of my low center of
that
gravity.
the biologically corrupted version of men, the female. Well, since their center of gravity is lower, I would have to imagine that a woman is going to be able to get fewer spins out. Because that's just the thing.
So we're going to compete after this.
Okay.
After this episode, we're going to compete. All
Are you
three
going
of
to do
us.
the tuck method?
I don't know, Rob.
And
I
for
don't know.
the record, I didn't really realize that gaming it was like a thing we were doing. So I only think I got like 3 revolutions.
Okay.
out.
He did only. But the other best part about our social media, so you should go out there and follow us, is for most of it, Tim thought I was taking pictures, but I wasn't. And I was taking videos. So it's really extra fun.
I'm really angry that you just said that.
I know.
I don't like that at all.
But you would have never found out if I hadn't told you.
No, but
So I'm being
but
honest.
That's a begging for forgiveness rather than asking permission type situation.
That's fair.
And
That's
I
fair.
am not given to forgiveness.
I'll preview it with you before you go. But yes, it did bring back memories of how I met you. I think if you had gotten less revolutions, I never would have gone on that first date with you.
So
was he the one who won the office chair spinning?
No, he didn't.
I didn't even participate, so I don't even know what
You
Carrie's
did.
talking about. No, it was
You
you and
didn't?
my manager.
Oh, maybe I was into your manager at the time.
Yeah, my manager.
That's what it
very
was.
very tall gentleman,
It
6'5".
Sounds like you might have made a very large tactical mistake.
He went 30.
Too. 30s. No, I think he
Yeah.
must have been the 36.
Yeah.
So is that? I thought you said that the time you knew I was the one.
Well, yeah, the
was
fact that
when
you
I
were
was chair spinning.
willing to participate against my boss. Like I was like, this is someone who doesn't mind what she looks like, what she, how others perceive her.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true today as well.
I'm thrown that Carrie did not view a chair spinning contest as an attempt to like ferret out who the alpha male in the situation was.
I would now. I would have done that
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, Carrie.
He was married and still is married
Same
at
person.
the time. So
Wow.
she got
He's beating the odds.
second helpings there, or second choice there.
But you know what? Moguls.
Yeah, segue back for us, Kara. Good luck.
I just
Yeah.
did.
Okay, moguls. So you were saying that there's more to money
Oh my
than a mogul?
gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. So a mogul is, you guys are all thinking money, you're thinking fame, you're thinking all of that. But a mogul is truly defined as somebody that has power and influence. That doesn't always mean wealth or money. So this could be in business. This could be, again, I could be a really, really powerful pool person. I could clean
a pool
pools.
person, a very powerful pool person.
I could be poor and still a mogul.
You said I thought you said
poor.
pool, like the
I know,
swimming
I
pool.
misspoke. I was
okay.
trying to.
You see, I thought you were saying like, what if you were the owner of like a pool building establishment and your pools had become so successful that you were in fact like the region's leading pool manufacturer, in which case I would say you are a pool mogul.
This is this
So much
is-
plosiveness right now.
This is so much peas.
test.
There's so many peas. So as example, Tim is a mogul. He is one of the poorest people that I know, but he is also a mogul.
I am in a sense in that I am co-owner of a thriving business.
Exactly. Well, that's
I am a
not what I
mogul.
even meant. I just meant to like, that's actually what I did mean.
So
If
your
you
list is going to be
lose
all
your
over the
viewers-
place.
It's not.
But I still think of you as a movie mogul.
The movie mogul means something really particular, and I'm not. But thank you for saying so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Carrie's list is going to be crap. Tim, how are you defining mogul?
Very similar to Carrie, actually. Someone who wields undue influence in a sort of given sphere. Again, my pool mogul example is basically one of the ones on my list is that, but not for pools.
Well, this was inspired largely because of the Batman coming out with
Batman.
Bruce.
Bruce Wayne, clearly a mogul. Clearly
Clearly
one of the city fathers of Gotham City.
Yes, so both influence and power and wealth, and usually, like a lot of times, it's hand in hand. Like if you have a lot of money, then you get lots of power.
I do
You have-
think, contra Carrie's point, I don't think you can be a poor mogul, but I think you can be rich and not be a mogul.
Yes. As the many influencers who are out there, or trying to be out there, who are wealthy and have they're trying to get famous, but you can't. You can be rich
Notoriety.
without being famous and have influence. But
Yeah. So did you guys, in order to make your list, did you have to hit the mark on more than one sort of like power metric? So like as an example, the Batman in your example is both powerful and wealthy and influential, or could you have just one of those segments to become a mogul for your lists?
I mean, as I just said, I think you can be wealthy and not be a mogul, so clearly that's not sufficient.
Right.
I also think if you are both powerful and wealthy, you are almost certainly influential.
Okay.
And I went power, wealth, and then I decided to rank not by my favorite mogul, but by how powerful and wealthy they are. So my most
Ooh.
powerful
Same.
one in my mind is my number one. But yeah,
I did the same.
Yeah, I went more on the
Level of power.
wealth side.
We know you
and
would,
power
Rob.
side.
We know what's
And
important
like, how
to you.
fun are they? Like, are they using the money in ways in which that I would like if I was a mogul? Like,
And-
that's my favorite, you know?
And that was actually one of my considerations as well. So one of the clarifying questions I asked when you guys pitched this idea was, are we saying top 5 moguls or top 5 movies about moguls? Because to me, they're different things. Give an example that I'm sure won't be on either of your lists. Charles Foster Kane, Citizen Kane is a movie about a mogul. That is 100% what it is. He's very wealthy. He runs the newspapers in several cities. Incredible amount of influence, incredible amount of power. The movie's about his like misuse of that power and his decline. And because I'm not doing movies about moguls, because we're doing moguls themselves, I wanted it to be a list of people that I admired. People that I think are spending their money in ways that are at least not actively malicious. And this was very difficult for me. This is actually one of the most difficult lists I think I've ever put together, because most times that there's someone in a movie who's wealthy, they're bad.
Yeah.
Like this is sort of one of the things you do, in fact, I think, to make it clear that a character is very bad, is you give them sort of an undue amount of influence because of their wealth. So coming up with 5 more or less admirable characters who I think could be characterized as moguls was really, really tough for me. And it did kind of come down to, are they spending their money and or influence in a way that I would like to do if I had the same amount of it?
This will be interesting.
Yeah, and for me, it's I think I admire mine to some degree. One for sure is not a good person, and you could probably make a case for many of them not being good people. But like, I still kind of like little bit of envy.
I don't envy any of these people.
On your list?
No.
All right, well, start us off with number 5. Who do you not envy?
Well, what I was originally going to do is go out and I was like, is there a movie about Jeff Bezos? I went the other way and I picked the mogul first.
That's the thing, because I don't like Jeff Bezos.
I don't
want
either.
to commemorate him
Jeff
on my list.
Bezos.
I didn't, but there's also not a movie I've seen about him. I haven't seen anything about Elon Musk. Then I was like, is there a movie about Carnegie?
I mean, Iron Man is kind of a movie about Elon Musk.
I've heard that, but that
You're
didn't work
going to be
for
getting
me.
a Uber movie starring, or maybe it's a series starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the founder of Uber.
Is his last name Uber?
No.
Mr. Uber?
I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he is a toxic... Travis something. I'm not going to get it.
I think that it's because you have to sort of be a little bit sociopathic to get to that level.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I think that's the issue. And I mean, certainly something like The Social Network, which is about...
Zuckerberg.
might very well be on one of your lists. Very much about like the toxic influence of money in his life.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want it. Happiest you could ever be is with $70K in your pocket.
Okay.
I disagree. I think the happiest you could ever be is when you're broke and you don't care.
Yeah, but the $70K is what they've said that you need to have basic needs covered: food, shelter, housing.
I don't like that number. That number makes me feel
Makes you
bad.
feel very bad. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Should we shift to Patreon then? In that case, should we segue there?
Segue to Patreon. So, all right, I'm going to jump in with my number 5, one of which I think completely qualifies this, even though for whatever reason, Tim always is in like some part of my brain in which he calls me out in advance. But I had on here Mr. K, Mr. CK, Mr. Citizen Kane.
Oh, I thought you meant Louis C.K. I was like, oh,
I
interesting.
think he was canceled, but no, this is Mr. Charles Foster Kane, to the one that Tim mentioned. He is absolutely a publishing tycoon. I don't know why there's that much in
it
it.
qualifies to Tim's
Yeah,
point.
not
but-
remotely disputing that he's a mogul. I think he is very specifically a mogul.
And I mean, this movie was so for me, but at the same time too, it's the first
Famously
movie.
so movie. Citizen Kane.
So. On all, like if you read the back of the DVD, it says so.
I loved when Sight and Sound published their list of the top 10 most so movies, and this came in at number 1 for 4 decades in a row.
Wait, so like walk me through it, because I agree, movie about a mogul. You like, in what way is this, did you rank this on your list? Because it qualifies as a mogul, but why Citizen Kane?
Least powerful of the people that I have on my list. I ranked by power.
And that was so you narrowed your list down by movie moguls, and then you just picked the 5 most powerful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's the 5th most powerful. It's going to get
when they own the news.
He owns the news, but also like there was some sort of grandeur about
it. He
it.
fails. Keep in mind that the story is the arc of his failure. He doesn't get into politics. He can't make his wife an opera superstar. So he doesn't have that much power.
Yeah.
That's why he's number 5.
Yeah. Okay.
But he did a lot. He built a whole like mecca of publishing, and it's the first one that came to mind when I saw it. Like he has a following too. He goes out, like he has notoriety. Everybody knows him. He does have influence. Even if he fails, he has influence.
Is he trying? Is Orson Welles? I don't think he's going for this because I didn't find Charles Foster Kane.
Wait, is Orson Welles playing Charles Foster Kane?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now you're saying that. That's right.
And then, like, he's not trying to
Have
be
you seen Citizen Kane?
charming.
I did.
She, in fact, did How Have You Never Seen?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I called it.
Let's do a new video. How did you not know that Orson Welles plays Charles Foster Kane?
We talked about this a long time ago. It's because he's just so gosh darn handsome in Citizen Kane.
When he doesn't have the makeup.
He's a gosh darn handsome man in his youth.
Yes, exactly.
Globally.
Exactly.
This is one of his things.
It's
But
one
he's
of his
not trying
things,
to play. We're not supposed to like him.
No, it is
So
a
that's
cautionary
why.
tale.
That's
about
why
a
I'm trying
man's
to.
failure.
Like that's why I don't have him on my list. Like I didn't care for him.
But that has nothing to
Okay.
do with it.
All right.
What
No,
mogul
you're right.
do you like?
That's the ones on my
Well,
list.
that's why I struggled
Okay,
at great
okay.
length to come up with 5
Starting to
moguls
get
that I
that
did like.
film sweat that I was looking for
All right,
earlier.
No,
good. I
I'm
love
no
it. I
judgment.
love it.
I'm just trying to
Okay.
understand.
I'm judging because I believe you think that Charles Kane is an estimable person whose life you wish to emulate.
I mean,
And
maybe.
I find that problematic because
Maybe.
he's not good.
Okay.
Do,
well,
do you daydream about destroying a room in a whiny pout because your wife doesn't do exactly what you want her to do?
sometimes.
I get
Sometimes.
it. I mean, looking at this one, I get it.
I thought this was going to be on your list too, which is a bummer.
No,
So-
no. My whole thing is that I want.
right.
Is that the reason you picked it? You thought we'd have
No.
overlap? Okay.
It goes
No.
back to pandering.
I'm not pandering.
She put
I'm
it
not
on the list because she
pandering.
wanted to have overlap. With
I
me.
didn't
It
want to
was
have any
gonna make her feel
overlap.
cool.
What's your number 5?
So my number 5. Remember my pool example?
Yes.
Replace pool with hamburgers.
Okay. Oh boy.
This is about sort of a woman who becomes the hamburger mogul of Southern California, circa 1945.
Is this about Wendy's?
This is about a lady called Mildred Pierce.
Unfamiliar. I need more.
She's the star of the movie Mildred Pierce.
Need more.
That's so interesting. I would have when you said hamburgers, I thought it was the Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah, that picture. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no. So Mildred Pierce, technically not a post-war film, not set after 1945. It's shot in 1945. Shot in 44, released in 45. So that it kind of has a post-war vibe to it. Joan Crawford wins an Oscar for this role. She plays Mildred Pierce, who is a single mother of 2 daughters, one of whom is very good and kind, one of whom is just this completely awful, heinous, just nightmare bitch of a teenage daughter. And so the story really is about how Mildred copes with like trying to make her horrible elder daughter love her and constantly fails to do so. But a major part of how she does this and how she tries to give her daughters the lives they want is she becomes like the ruler of a small restaurant empire in Southern California, right at about a time period when these sort of like casual dining restaurants are becoming part of the American landscape. And so she, again, like that's sort of what she does to become successful. And she becomes quite successful. She actually gets very rich, enough to become a target for predatory men who want to marry her and take her money, sort of thing. So it's that kind of plot. But yeah, so this is Mildred Pierce, becoming again a restaurant mogul.
Still haven't seen this. I feel like
No.
I might enjoy it.
It's a solid movie. It might be a little bit melodramatic for your tastes, and it might be a little bit black and white for your tastes, Carrie.
You never know.
But,
I operate in the gray.
It's a very, very good movie. Phenomenal Joan Crawford performance. And I mean, it's not about she's a restaurant owner, but I think one of the things that's most fascinating to me about it is the way that subplot where she is a restaurant owner sort of goes into the economic life of Southern California and this very like aggressive boom time for that period when people are moving out there and they need food and she's providing it. And to a certain degree, Mildred Pierce is a sad character who fails in life, but she succeeds as a restaurant like empress, and that is why I'm calling her one of my favorite moguls, because I do admire her. I pity her, but I would
also
not.
admire her.
I think she's trying to make money for good reasons, even though it's a foolish, misbegotten thing. But she doesn't want money and power for their own sake. She wants them because she's trying to give a better life to her daughters, and that's the reason to want money.
Do you think, Rob, that there's any part of you that identifies with this character or the characters that are after it because of your pursuit of me for money?
No. Did you have a big nest egg? Carrie did have a big savings, but that's because she lived at home until for a long period.
You can't
of time.
judge. I bet Tim lived at home till he was older.
I mean, I lived at home and then moved out of home and then moved back into home. So
I've done that too.
Complicated.
I was rich when
No, it's
Rob
not.
and I
No
met.
judgment. It's just you were able to save because of that.
That's
And,
right.
Yeah, largely.
I put all of my money into savings. I only spent money at Buffalo Wild Wings solely. And I had a good, again, nest egg, and it was gone within like 3 months of knowing Rob.
You should have put it in the stock market, Care. It would have been better off than giving it to me for my CD project.
This is true.
And that's why at my number 5 I have a stock market movie. You have to have a mogul who plays in the stock market. So many like stock market movies are like candy to me. I really enjoy films that take place in the stock market.
That's because you want to be them.
I did, and I kind of still do.
You still do.
I dabble in stocks and stuff. I really like my puts, my calls, my options. I'm just throwing out words.
Yeah.
But there's a plethora of films to choose from that focus in on the stock market, and most of which have moguls in them. I could have went Trading Places. Could have done that.
Isn't that the one with the gal from Halloween?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis and her daughter. She's a mogul in that? Where they switch
the daughter?
Don't they
That's
switch?
Freaky Friday. You're blending movies.
You're right.
She's topless in that film.
Interesting.
Famously.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In the Freaky Friday movie?
Yep.
Very famous topless scene in that Disney film.
Lindsay Lohan and her share topless scene together. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's kind of like bonding, motherly bonding,
I see
mother-daughter
that.
bonding.
There was a full-on mother-daughter incest scene, but Disney felt that was going a little bit too far, so they did require that they cut it out.
Gosh, that does feel too far. Ooh.
So anyway,
Sorry, Rob.
I could have chosen, let's see, Boiler
Room?
Yeah, good stock
You could have
market
chosen
movie.
Wolf of Wall
Margin
Street?
Call. I did choose Wolf of Wall Street.
I
I was going to go there. I actually had as a placeholder Wall Street with the famous Michael Douglas, Greed is Good, Gordon Gekko, because it's been made famous. But when I really think about it, Jordan Belfort, which this movie is based on, terrible, sleazy guy, but like there's just something, he's like somewhat charming. And I mean, that's how he was able to derive most of his wealth too, is he was able to sell people not only on purchasing these penny stocks that were ultimately worthless, but then convince other people to join his army. And then the way that they spent the money was so reckless that it's almost fun. And I know Scorsese has been sometimes criticized about this, that he glamorizes like things that, but like at the end of the day, I think it's supposed to be a cautionary tale, much like Citizen Kane is. But boy, if it doesn't look like fun in the moment.
Is this the one though that has Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
You think this is like
He's one of my
I think that
top
type
five
of person
He's
is
my least
so
wealthy.
stressful.
Yeah, that's me. I have glimpses of Jordan Belfort for sure in my DNA.
I
Like,
think
there are parts of Jordan
would it
Belfort.
help if I fed it more? Because what Rob will do is he'll come out and he'll be like, I just moved this thing over here, but just a little bit, so it's low risk, and he's looking for my reaction, and I'm like, do you want more tea? Like, I'm not interested.
I just
at all
decided to start going elsewhere
without talking. Oh, for your interest,
for my
people being
affirmation.
interest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like
okay.
for stocks, I have a person when I
Who's
make
your
a
stock
successful,
person?
like so they give me the affirmation for my movie plans.
Yeah.
I have someone who I'm jiving with, and we're bouncing
Sure.
ideas off of each other.
What do you go to me
He
for?
just wrote me.
What do you
Just
go
wrote
to
me.
their
Gosh,
stock
see, I
man?
just got the hit of dopamine.
I want to point out that when Rob said I just got a hit of
what?
dopamine, he immediately put his hands on his nipples.
You really did do that,
He-
which is a weird instinct.
He's feeling himself up in front of you and I, Carrie.
That is
Because
really
that's
strange.
how stocks makes him feel.
Stocks make me feel this way, but
I
I
don't like it.
It's weird.
Carrie, did your high school have a club where you could invest fake money and see how it performed in the stock market?
If they did, I didn't participate.
Yeah, I was just really into stocks. Still am. So yeah, despicable person, but like charming.
But you
do you
want
feel
something
like
about it.
Scorsese's angle is to
I think the idea is very clear because it's the same film basically as Goodfellas and
Right.
Casino, and in both of those cases, I think he's showing us the glamour before he like lets the bottom fall out. So I do think the film is anti-Jordan Belfort, and I agree with you. He's spending a lot of the time in the beginning making it look fun because I think that's the sort of strategy there. For me, at least, this fails the do I admire this person and how they're spending their money and how they're acquiring it. And I do not, certainly. So that's why this film.
it's a little wish.
and basically all the
fulfillment.
films like it were never even remotely candidates for my.
It's a little wish fulfillment because like if you went from zero to $100 million overnight, like you'd have a little, maybe have a little bit of fun with it. So it's the wish fulfillment.
I'd probably go up to the Dells.
Yeah, go.
I bet he'd get some more DVDs
Oh.
for sure.
I would probably finally invest in a 4K player.
I think you would. That's the thing. I think Tim and I are the same kind of spenders. Like Rob and I have talked about this. If I had millions of dollars, I wouldn't change anything because I still don't like stuff. I mean, like I like certain things,
Well, you
but
guys
not
own your own house. If I fell into $100 million, I would at least buy a house.
buy a house.
Ni-
But I would
nice,
never
modest
buy a
little
yacht.
two-story, maybe in the outskirts of Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin.
Oh, that'd be nice. A little wooded area. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
see
You
if
can
I
get a
can
lot
get
for
a lake.
$100 million out there. I've been told.
I agree. There's just nothing more. We've had this conversation. There's nothing more in my life that I want that I don't have, other than the love of family and friends.
There's one more thing I want.
What's that?
You're number 4.
I'll give it to you then. And you know what? I'm going to give it to you. This is actually like another person I don't admire because I think they've destroyed my life, but they've also destroyed the life of everybody. So this is my number 4, which is another one that Tim's already referred to.
I stopped talking about it because I was confident one of you would have it on your list.
It's on mine. It's on mine. This is Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, the tech mogul / advertising mogul in the social network.
Okay, so you are not picking anybody you admire, right?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear because
I don't admire money. Okay. I don't admire that at all.
He is now he's top 5 still wealthiest. I know him and Elon have been kind of trading places.
He's under Bezos. Bezos, when I looked,
I think Bezos got chopped in half because
of his wife.
Mackenzie took half.
Okay,
of
and
it,
she
but
donated it. How nice is that?
Donated
or a lot of it.
A good chunk.
Yeah.
But Zuckerberg, Facebook's not performing well, and they had a huge stock dip, so he lost.
Apparently, I did not realize this. The kids don't use Facebook.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank God.
And then Apple's made it far more challenging now to advertise to because Apple users are able to say, do not collect any information for every app. Like you have the choice to say, do not track me. So
nice.
advertising wise, it becomes difficult to target you then.
I see.
But anyway, yes, at the time, I mean, he's been number 1 at different points.
Yeah.
And so certainly very.
I grow
very
increasingly angry at him because they do know me. And so my entire news feed now is like rehabbed furniture. But I'm into it. So then I watch it and it perpetuates the problem. It's like painted furniture and puppies and people in wheelchairs like winning races. Like that's my whole news feed. And I'm like, I don't like that that I want to watch these things, No?
I mean, I also don't like it. That's why I don't ever use Facebook.
I know.
I really like this movie. It's probably one of my favorite, top 2 favorite.
But it's not on your list.
You didn't let me finish what I was going to say.
Oh.
My favorite... the director. Danny Boyle. Oh, no, David Fincher. Oh, then never mind.
It's not in your top 2 David
Sorry,
Finchers.
never mind. Disregard. It's not.
Delete.
It would, however, be my top Danny Boyle film, but it's not a Danny Boyle film.
That's right. I'm confusing it with the Apple one because both Sorkin.
Steve Jobs.
It's the Steve Jobs one.
Steve Jobs, not a very good movie.
Yeah, not very good.
Social Network's a really good movie.
So probably my top Aaron Sorkin film. Maybe,
okay.
Near the top.
So that was my number 4. And it's not on your list.
Because it's not someone I don't care for. The character. I don't know how much. I think
he's, I don't want to talk about him too much more, but I think he's one of the more likable wealthy people, right? No, no one likes him. I mean,
he's responsible for Facebook, which is a cancer.
He gives a lot.
Wait, do you mean the character in the movie, or I know it's
Mark
can be
Zuckerberg
one
in
the
real
same.
life?
I don't think he's well liked.
No one likes him.
He is almost shockingly impossible to like.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
I will, and I think the movie gets at that. I think that Eisenberg in the film is giving a phenomenal performance of a guy who wants to be a sociopath and he just doesn't have enough money to be a sociopath, and then he gets the money and becomes a sociopath.
I just thought he gave a lot of it
100%.
away.
Well, oh my gosh.
I haven't I don't follow him on Facebook, so I don't know about his trappings. But
You're not joining the metaverse?
No.
I find the metaverse to be quite possibly the most off-putting thing that anyone has tried to sell me in the last 3 years, and it's been a hell of a 3 years.
I think a bank just recently opened up in the metaverse.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that means. But as soon as they start trading stocks, I'll be there.
You'll be there.
Metaverse is one of those, maybe I should just go farm potatoes in Idaho sort of things for me. It's like, should I just completely remove myself from the grid?
Get a bunker and leave. But yeah, so that was my number 4. Thought it would cross onto your guys' list too.
It follows suit with your intentions.
That's right.
So.
And again, my thing is that I can only have people that I think are likable.
I know.
Or in some way admirable.
I think my number 3 will make your list for that reason, but what's your number 4?
So my number 4, again, I'm gonna do a carry here and say that I don't like my list very much because I had to put too many filters on it, but I think I can make this one count. So this is the story, sort of a very famous rags to riches story. Guy who starts in the mailroom ends up as the CEO of the company. The irony in this film is that happens the same day for him. He gets hired as mailroom guy, and almost immediately becomes CEO because he is being used as a patsy by.
Did you pick Big?
No.
Oh no.
I didn't know you liked this movie.
I love this movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
There's a 4-star review of this movie on our site.
What is this? Keep going. Any more?
Well, I want a chance to guess.
Okay, yeah.
Rob knows what it is.
Okay, keep going.
So he becomes he's installed as CEO because the board of directors wants to sort of manipulate him. But he ends up using all of this extraordinary power over this manufacturing company to create things that he believes will give joy to the world, including, and this is a bit of a spoiler,
Toys?
a toy, a specific kind of toy. I don't want to say what it is because the reveal of it's great, and if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to give that away.
Oh, okay.
But his character is played by Tim Robbins. His character's name is Norvel Barnes.
Now,
This movie is titled The Hudsucker Proxy.
I've never heard of
No?
this.
1994 film directed by Joel and Ethan Coen from a script they co-wrote with Sam Raimi. Because I've sort of already laid out the plot. Norvel is a little nobody with a business degree from Muncie School of Business who gets a job at Hudsucker Industries in the mailroom. He's immediately plucked up by the nefarious what's Sidney Musburger, played by
That's his real
by
name?
Paul Newman.
Sidney Musburger?
The film has very fanciful names. It's
Okay.
called The Hudsucker Proxy.
Okay.
I think that's my one
true.
problem with the movie is it's a little bit of that too much fantasy.
The fantasy is exactly part of what I love about it, honestly, because it's just this like goof. It's just this goofy screwball riff on like 30s and 40s movies. But yeah, so Norvel Barnes, when given a position of almost unimaginable wealth and influence and power as the head of a major national corporation, just wants to bring a little bright light to people's days because he's a fucking idiot is the thing about Norvel
But like
Barnes.
a lovable one.
Lovable idiot, but boy, the movie does not make him seem to be some sort of crafty genius. He's a fucking idiot. But it's a charming.
Does he hold his
charming.
job?
Well, that would
That will
constitute
spoil
a
the
spoiler.
movie. That's a spoiler. Don't
But
tell me.
I will say that the movie does not leave us feeling sad.
Okay.
It does not do that.
I don't think 90s movies ever do, but I am really interested in seeing this. I'm going to blow your mind here. I just found out this the other day. Tim Robbins, the guy that you were just talking about,
Yes.
he is married to Susan Sarandon.
My gosh, Kara.
He was married
They're
to Susan
divorced?
Sarandon. They've been divorced for some years.
Rob,
It created like a great emotional crisis in me and several other people's because they seem to have one of the best celebrity marriages, and then they split.
what? I didn't even know. We were watching Enchanted the other day, and we had this whole conversation, Rob, and you were like, "Yeah, they're married to Tim Robbins." Focus, Rob.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of recent like separations and rekindling. We just saw
That are quiet.
Ben Stiller, and I didn't even realize they had him and Christina.
Oh,
Right?
it's the girl from Hey Dude, Melody from
Sure,
Hey
sure.
Dude.
They've come back together. So I didn't
don't
realize
know
that
who
Sarandon
you're
and
talking about.
Ben Stiller and Chris. Gosh, I can't remember her name.
Oh, I don't know who she is.
And you never watched Nickelodeon's Hey Dude.
I watched one episode of Hey Dude.
Her name was Melody.
Okay.
But neither
That's
here
not
nor
gonna be
there.
the thing
It's
that's
not going to
gonna-
be the thing that
But
sells
but
it.
yeah, no. As far as I know, Sarandon and Robbins
I didn't know
were
that.
split and remain split.
Well,
sad.
never mind. Not a hot take. Not hot news.
No, ice cold.
Ice
It's like you
cold
pulled it out of the
news.
freezer and was like, "Look at my hot take."
And
It's
when they
like,
listen to
what
this,
is going on? with you?
50% of them are hurt by this podcast.
I ended
so.
up going with my number 4. Kind of the spirit of what this category came from is you have to have a Wayne on here. A lot of Waynes to choose from. Wayne Enterprises.
Garth. Wayne and Garth.
No.
I want very badly for you to have Thomas Wayne on your list in some fucking way.
No. So then it just becomes a matter of which Wayne do I choose and which Batman movie do I choose, because this one is not my favorite Batman movie. But yeah,
Some Batman movies foreground more his wealth and some foreground more his Batmaning.
correct. And this one I feel like does not only does it I think foreground the wealth, especially in this installment, is I really find him charming and charismatic.
There's one correct answer, and I hope you go
Okay,
with it.
so I'm going with
Clooney?
1992's. I think that's the year. Batman.
Well, it's like Batman is 1989, and the correct answer is 1997's Batman and Robin.
What? I'm saying Michael Keaton's Batman.
I'm saying George Clooney's is the best Mogul.
For sure.
What?
Of course.
He's the one who has the
No.
American Express card.
Gosh, there's so much product placement in that.
But anyway, so tell us about Michael Keaton.
us about the
as
Ross
No, I
Bruce
like
Wayne
Michael Keaton.
in 1989.
So like,
Batman.
89. Thank you. So like, you're introduced to Bruce Wayne, I believe, at a dinner party where, oh gosh, what's her name? Kim Basinger.
Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale
What
shows
does she
up.
play?
She's a reporter.
Oh, okay.
She plays Vicky Vale.
Okay.
Kim Basinger.
Keep going.
My gosh, Care.
Sorry.
Vicky Vale Kim
Shows
Basinger.
up to the party. She doesn't know what he looks like. Apparently, nobody has seen Bruce Wayne in a while or something. I don't know why I don't remember why she doesn't know what he looks like.
He's reclusive and she's
reclusive.
incurious.
So, Arliss, the guy who plays
It is Arliss.
Yeah, shows up as well, and he's kind of
Robert Wool.
Robert Wool is hitting on Vicky Vale, like he's really interested in Vicky Vale, and they're in the Wayne's estate, and they're in a long hallway with like a lot of knight armor, and what kind of crazy person would be into this kind of stuff. And then like Michael Keaton shows up. They don't know that it's Bruce Wayne, and he kind of like gets in on the joke, and he starts kind of like saying, yeah, this probably like actually it's 18th 15th century Chinese. Like how would you know that? Oh, I'm Bruce Wayne. And it's just fun. It's cute.
That's cute.
It's charming.
That's cute.
And he's got a lot of toys.
I also really like the scene where they're having dinner. They're on a dinner date.
Oh, across the table?
Massive, huge table.
Yeah.
And he gets super embarrassed to have a massive, huge table. So they go sit in the kitchen and eat there instead.
Yes. You want the salt? And then they have a fun time with Alfred and just like kind of very low key. Very low key.
None of these jokes are hitting with me because I don't like Batman.
I totally agree.
You don't like Batman?
I don't think he's powerful. I think he's the weakest of the superheroes.
We're doing Moguls.
We're not talking about Batman. We're talking about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when you bring all the things together, I think there's more powerful people.
I'm saying in Batman Begins, there's a goddamn giant skyscraper named after Bruce Wayne.
So let's for a moment assume
if you have a skyscraper named after you, you're a mogul.
You're a mogul.
That, like grandfathers.
Yes. Let's for a moment assume, and maybe you can get on board with this, Carrie, that Bruce Wayne is the wealthiest person, at least in Gotham. And if Gotham is supposed to be like a Chicago and or New York, analogous for that. Like, so we're talking Michael Bloomberg money, which would put you at the $50 billion range. So that's why he deserves to be on this list.
That's a fair amount of cash.
Yes. So not quite Zuckerberg level or, close to that.
Oh, Zuckerberg has more than that.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I said not
you're
quite.
agreeing. I thought you were being sarcastic.
So, but I'm saying I think it's a worthy entry. It would have been a worthy entry on your list as well, too.
It would have. I would have if I was chosen the George Clooney.
I think her concern is that she didn't want to have any morally upstanding characters on her list.
Got
she
it.
Only wanted.
And if I may make the argument,
scoundrels.
if you're truly going by wealth, I think Bruce Wayne is wealthier than Charles Foster Kane.
Huh. Well, pause for inflation. Mine was a little bit earlier. So you never know. I did look into those numbers, and then I was like, I got to get out of this.
Kane does make his fortune in the 1890s, so he could really be worth like $200,000 and still be one of the wealthiest men in America.
Exactly.
I think you haven't seen the end of that movie.
Fair. Ooh, burning Tim on Citizen
Tim.
Kane. I'm going to burn you guys real quick with something that probably should be higher on my list, but there's just not a lot of power, but it's a trifecta of things that are happening here. So this person is rich in love, is rich in clothes, maybe like dresses, but also rich in murderous intentions.
Okay.
So there's like 3 levels of richness, mogulness stuff.
So did you say this person's a murder mogul?
I would say possibly a murder mogul as well. This movie is so good. It had to make my list. This is clothing dress mogul, Mr. Woodcock. His name is Mr. Woodcock.
Okay. Not a mogul.
Reynolds.
I mean, okay.
Woodcock.
So a mogul for the so wait, so you're ranking by, you just went from Zuckerberg to Phantom Thread guy?
Yeah. But this is also 1950s London.
There is.
Did he invest in Facebook?
No, but did you not hear what I just said? What is Zuckerberg rich in? He's rich in
money. He's rich in shit tons of money.
Yeah, and I already told you the 3 categories in which Reynolds Woodcock is rich.
And Zuckerberg has more money than Woodcock has the other 3 things combined.
I don't think so. I mean, how many people do you know that are rich in murderous intentions? Very few.
He doesn't have murderous intentions.
But somebody else does.
Okay.
I won't tell you who. Wink, wink.
Ah.
So
This makes me feel a whole lot better about putting Mildred Pierce on my list. At least she's a business owner.
he's a mogul. He's a dress mogul. So I had to decide.
I give you that, but this is, so again, I'm not judging your list based on your criteria. I'm judging you for not sticking to your own criteria.
You're in my definition of what's important, Rob, Mr. Stock Trader, are different. Love is more important to me.
I know, but your original criteria was like you narrowed down your list of found all of the moguls, and then you just picked the 5 mogliest ones.
Yeah, and my mogliest is
it is
Mr. Woodcock.
It is unclear to me in what capacity Reynolds Woodcock wields more influence over the society in which he lives than does Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm going to contemplate that after this is over, but it's also a better movie. So it also like edges up a little bit for that too. And if you haven't seen this, I won't spoil it, but Reynolds Woodcock does make beautiful gowns and dresses, and in walks, and he's kind of like snappy. He doesn't like a lot of people. He rids himself of loved ones all the time until Alma comes along, and he's very fascinated by her, and they become lovers.
Like if you want to sell me on say House of Gucci as a film about moguls, I'll buy that. If there's
That's a good
there hasn't
one.
been a movie about Versace, but there's that American Crime Story about Versace. I would say that Versace's a mogul.
So that's fair too. I also thought Devil Wears Prada is an option here too.
I think she's a mogul.
I think she's a mogul.
I think she's for sure a mogul. She's both a fashion and a publisher.
Yeah,
Yes.
can we touch on the fact that not a lot of at least representation in the female side, or certainly minority side?
I think there are just not that many.
Oh, I've got
women
some
moguls
representation
in this world.
Oh, there's one that's coming for me.
So
but
it's a reflection of reality.
I think it is difficult for me to come up with a single woman historically who has been a Bezos or a Zuckerberg. Let's put it that way.
mine is going to my next one, but neither here nor there. This was my favorite in the dress clothing industry, and that's why I chose it over the others as Phantom Thread number
Bruce Wayne
3.
higher on the list than Charles Foster Kane on
He is
Forbes' fictional
fiction.
top 15 fictional
I think that
wealthy
tracks.
people.
I think that makes sense.
Are you trying to one up me, Rob?
Yeah, I'm saying that he belonged on your list according to the way that your approach was.
I'm moving on.
Oh God, I forgot this one. This is a good one. Okay, moving on.
All right, Tim, you're number 3.
So I was feeling really bad about this one until I heard Reynolds Woodcock, and I'm like, well, at least my guy is like, he's in industry. He's perhaps an example of someone who could have more influence and power than he actually seems to want. He's a bit of an airhead who only really cares about showing off his new sort of like inventions, and he has a kind of scorch-proof plastic, and that's like a big part of this film. So the film is Sabrina, the Billy Wilder directed romantic comedy from the 50s. And
That is Harrison Ford in it, doesn't it?
No,
that is the 1990s
remake.
version.
Oh,
Although it's the
okay.
Harrison Ford character. I've never actually seen the remake from the 90s.
Very good.
So the film is centered around the extraordinarily wealthy Larabee family who've made their money in manufacturing. And at this point in time, the head of the Larabee family is Linus Larabee, played in this film by Humphrey Bogart, played, as Carrie points out, in the 90s film by Harrison Ford. And the plot is about how the family's chauffeur's daughter, Sabrina, sort of charms first the dissolute younger Larabee brother, played by William Holden. And after realizing that he's just a ne'er-do-well womanizer who will never truly love her, she sort of almost accidentally falls in love with his older brother Linus, who's again a bit of a stick in the mud, he only really cares about his scorch-proof plastic, but he's charming, and his charm is sort of where the film lives. And it's also like, who doesn't want to be the rich guy who can live so isolated from humanity that you think it's really cool to show off your scorch-proof plastic at cocktail parties?
I don't
Which
think
he does routinely. It becomes a running joke.
I think they went away from that in the remake.
Well, that was a mistake because it's a
Yeah,
good
because I don't
bit.
remember any
I don't
of
think
that.
they touch on where the wealth and like where Harrison, because it's like a brothers after one girl, right?
Yep.
Like, yeah.
They don't. It's not like the thing they go into in Sabrina. And again, I preface this by saying I think my list is bad. But again, if I'm sort of the thing I was building this around was, do I morally respect the way this person is spending their money? And in his case, because he's not really doing anything other than trying to quietly entertain himself with his like new inventions, I do it. I don't think he is malign. He is not a malignancy upon the body politic.
So Linus is the mogul.
Linus Larabee is the mogul in the film Sabrina.
Interesting. Do you guys ever think about the freakonomics of names ever? Like how you're more or less successful based on your name?
I mean, if your name is the name of your father, who is a billionaire, then yes, it stands to reason that your name would be a reason that you're successful.
I just mean in general. You don't usually hear like Linus, ruler of the world, Linus. It seems like you're just ready to go take a nap. Like it just seems like you're sleepy, and I don't know. I don't see Linus as a powerful person.
I've got one for you that on my number 3.
Is it also Linus?
It's in that vein.
Is it Charlie Brown Christmas?
Is it?
No, it's not.
That's what it is. I think of Linus from Charlie Brown. I can't get over it. Anyway, Rob.
I've got one that I think, Tim, this will probably disappoint you to hear that this is probably my most watched animated film of all time. The one that I've seen the most.
Oh, I guarantee you whatever answer you would have to that would disappoint me. Go for it.
Yes, I think so. For whatever reason, I was really into this movie and watched it a lot as a kid. It's 1990 movie, animated film. I gave that away. It's a little bit on the a riff on the Indiana Jones, but it features what I believe to be one of the richest fictional characters of all time. And that's, so rich that you just dive into your vault full of gold.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
This is a terrible
So
choice.
my third highest mogul is Scrooge Mcduck
don't know-
from
what
the
is he-
film
what's his
DuckTales,
industry?
the movie. He's in a lot of things.
No, I'm
He's
saying
got
what's his industry? What does he do?
Conglomerate. That's what I'm saying. He's into
He's
a lot of things.
in everything.
Oh, he's
an
a dabbler.
investor.
Okay.
This is my number one.
Ooh.
This when
What
we
the
came
fuck?
up when we came up with this topic for like a day, this was the only one I had on my list.
Oh my gosh! Well, you know what? Did this hit you at the right? Did you What's your background on this film?
So I will say I kind of fell backwards into the film because Scrooge Mcduck, of course, comic book character before he's a cartoon character. DuckTales is a TV series before it's a movie, but there is a DuckTales movie, so it qualifies for our list, and that would be 1990's DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Lamp, and it comes down to, again, do I admire the way you're spending your money? And how do you not admire the way Scrooge McDuck spends his money? He goes on adventures and he goes mountain climbing and goes into caves and just finds interesting artifacts.
Also spends his money by not spending money.
Spends his money by not spending his money.
How do you spend your money by not spending money?
You put it in a goddamn giant tower that's like the size of, it's like the biggest building in your city, and you swim in it. You make sure it's all in change. Like his entire fortune exists in the form of like pennies, and you go swimming in it. And it's delightful.
So I've thought about swimming in pennies before.
You would die. If you did what Scrooge McDuck tries to do, you would snap your neck and you would die.
But imagine the first swan dive, like off the ledge like he does. You wouldn't make it.
No, your head would crash into the solid wall of pennies because they're not a fluid.
Exactly.
And your skull would shatter and your neck would break and you'd be
none
dead.
of this is realistic in any way.
But he's also a talking duck.
I mean,
so realism is not a priority here.
I can't believe this is. On both of
that's
your lists.
amazing. I'm very excited right now.
I'm very excited too. I'm bummed you took out my number one, but I'm also super excited we had this.
Have you seen this movie?
Of course, I would have never chosen this, so I can't even tell you what.
It just seems like something you would really like.
Again, for me, it's more that this is the proxy for Scrooge McDuck in all media.
Correct.
This is the feature film version of it.
Well, and actually, if I'm being really, really honest, because I think I actually just lied a second ago, I think I've seen all the shows. I don't know if I've seen the movie. I know I've seen him dive into the pennies and then go under unrealistically and then do some back floats unrealistically through the pennies. But I can't remember the movie.
Suck in the coins and then spit them
them
back
back
out.
out.
Can you even imagine the germs?
Oh, he has them.
I imagine that he, before putting his money into his money bin, has it sanitized.
Okay. Already been licked pennies.
That feels like it is a thing that if I were going to do this, I would.
Estimated worth $70 billion.
That's you could say he didn't have to do anything to get there. It's animated.
He's an Andrew Carnegie type. He's just kind of generally speaking involved in industry.
Oil.
He probably finances. We know he is involved in oil. I think there's episodes about his oil. We know that he made a fairly tidy amount of money during the Klondike Gold Rush.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's in things. Like he invests, he puts a little bit of money there, a little bit of money there, and it just all comes back to him. And of course, the main thing he does with his money is he goes out and finds treasure, like rare artifacts that are worth more money.
Mm-hmm. It seems like he's rich in one category.
He's rich and he's got his nephews.
Does he love them?
Joy.
Is he rich in love and joy?
That is one of the major elements of his character arc is loving his nephews.
It doesn't seem genuine to me, if I'm being honest, either.
Well, you're the one who came up with your multiple categories, so you could, for some insane fucking reason, put Reynolds Woodcock on your top 5.
I just want to
You just want to say the name.
I know, I do.
Yeah.
I really do. It's such a funny name. He seems like a Reynolds.
Well,
anyway.
Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Get early access and exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site. Much like those celebrating their anniversaries this month, Daniel Phillips, Daniel Toon, Grant Hagee, Kent Hudson, and LJE, who are part of our It's Nice to Be Nominated category. If you're interested in joining Patreon, head over to Alternate Ending on the Patreon site there. You can click through our site to get there. We're also going to be hosting a movie night tonight. Actually,
Not a bad movie.
Yeah, it's too late for you now. But because we're going to be
Why
doing
is it too late?
Because by the time this
you're
airs, we would have already
Bad
watched
timing.
Labyrinth with all of our Razzie and Up award level members.
I'm
But
so excited. I've never seen Labyrinth.
Oh.
it's one of those movies that I saw too early and got scared and then just never came back to it. Because I don't think it's that scary, is it?
It's weird.
It's just
super
weird. And I think I was
It's-
creeped out.
It's definitely something where if you see it as an adult, you'd be a little bit scared by what David Bowie does with that thing.
I don't know what that means, but it's
So should we-
making
should we watch it with our kids?
David Bowie got big wang.
I don't even know what that
He's
means.
got big wang.
You can't expose. He's not exposed on it though, is
He's
he?
wearing very tight pants.
I see. Who amongst us isn't?
So yeah,
But your pants will get tighter as you watch Labyrinth. I can tell you that
Good
much.
to know.
one of the many features we have on Patreon is talking about wangs, but also Tim, you just released to the masses now, but you get early access for Patreon reviews, so things like The Great Race that you had just posted. You have a few more lined up that are coming out on a regular basis. And then I want to share for those who might be hearing impaired, we are trying out for the first time live transcriptions. It won't overwhelm you when you open up the site, but if you click over to our podcast section and you click on the podcast transcription, it probably won't be accurate. We're just doing it straight off of Zoom, but it'll be fun.
And I want to point out, obviously if you're hearing impaired, you're not listening to Rob right now. So that's a weird gesture to have made. But also if you were like me and you don't believe in podcasts and you think that they're bad, you now get to read what we're talking about. So
And
I'm
you're
very
also, but you're
I'm
also, to
very
be fair,
excited
not hearing that either if you're not into podcasts.
But you're reading it.
But you won't
You're
know
reading
about it.
now because there's a transcript.
Oh, that's fair.
I
Okay.
wanted to insult our podcast on our podcast is what I was trying to do.
That's also fair.
But no, I don't listen to podcasts, so I'm very excited to finally be able to hear what the hell we're
to
talking
read
about.
and admire yourself
Exactly.
every day.
Other things to plug. This week we rented out alternate ending rented out a theater, a screening room for
not really
an
a
early
theater.
release of The Batman. We're going to have an early release. A couple of listeners of the site and readers of the site are coming down from all over the place. We even have one person coming from across the pond.
International traveler.
International traveler coming. So excited to get together with 30 of our closest friends, family, and listeners and readers to the site. And then in that vein, too, our next episode, Past the Popcorn, we're going to have Josh Elder, who's not only our former roommate, but he's also written a number of Batman stories for DC Comics, joining the Past the Popcorn episode to talk about the Batman in more detail.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah,
And will you stick to it if I actually ask you kindly right now?
sure.
So, Josh, that you just mentioned, for longtime listeners, they may remember the story about Rob using a small shovel to examine possible worms.
Oh, there's many stories.
Possible
like that
worms
now.
in my stool. Well, we don't need to go back to that. That's a deep pull. But Josh was also there for that when that happened.
Present for some waxing issues that I've had as well, too.
It's fair. Can we avoid talking to Josh about?
We'll see where the conversation
The worms
goes.
and
We'll
poo
see where the
incident.
conversation
Now,
goes.
I don't want his
confused.
perspective.
Was he helping to look for worms in the poo, or did he also potentially have worms in his poo and Rob was going through his as well?
No. So after I thought that I had worms, I emerged from my room and I was a little bit hysterical. I don't know what he would say happened. I was a little bit hysterical. Rob was not there. So when I came out in a bit of a panic, he is a very,
I know Josh.
Yeah.
Our listeners do not.
I know. So he's very, he's like a Charlton Heston. I think he's.
Just because he does a Charlton Heston voice.
It's really good though. But when he does it, he's very loud and bold and confident. And so when
he fills the room.
That's a great way to
That's why
say
he's
it.
going to make for a great podcast.
He
guest.
will, but he fills the room. So when I walked out and was like, I have worms, he emerged out and was like, everybody just calm down, even though it was just the two of us. And he was trying to create a calming situation by yelling at me to calm down. So then I was crying, and I just don't want to talk about it.
That's okay. We don't have to relive it. One thing we can relive is Carrie's, I think you won Oscar ballot last year amongst us. Is that right? Am I correct in that? Or did Tim reclaim victory? I don't know. But we're having the alternating Oscar ballot is going to be going out soon because it is Oscar season. So start seeing those movies, getting your picks in. And then, Carrie, you wanted to plug podcast reviews.
No, I just wanted to say thank you. I had put a question out there to see if people would be up for leaving us a rating, just a rating. And so people have really gone the extra mile and been leaving ratings and reviews, which is super, super, super kind. We're halfway to 200, which is like, gosh.
It's a big milestone.
It's a big milestone. It's really, really awesome. So The other thing I've been finding is by asking that question, I've been finding out a lot of people that listen that I didn't know, which is making me uncomfortable.
Especially with the last few episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
People at work were like, oh, I'm going to
Some of our best work, I gotta
yes.
say.
Oh, yes.
I don't agree. We have different bars for that, but people have been like, I'm so excited to listen to this. And I was like, oh, no. Please don't actually listen. And then I give a lot of disclaimers about Tim. But that said, really, really thankful. We have a couple new reviews that are out there. One from Kay McCurda, period. And it says, I love this dynamic trio. I don't really even watch a lot of movies, but these three make it entertaining, funny, and keep me up to date on the latest cinema. So thank you for that. And then another one, and this one I don't want to like nitpick on our people that are taking the time to leave reviews.
No, I should say no.
I wouldn't, but let me just tell you what they did. So their name, their handle is Super Cal Fragilistic, who said, I like their interactions, great reviews. Short and sweet, love that. But they forgot the A. It's Super Cal Fragilistic. I don't know if I should let them know that it's...
Well, what if their name is Cal?
It's an I.
Califragilistic. Okay, so sure. They forgot the I. So
But maybe their name is Super, like they're Cal.
You think their real name is Super Cal?
No, Cal.
Oh.
Cal.
But Cal's in it either way.
Calvin, like or something.
Yes, but
Super Cal.
either way, you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious with a CAL.
But there's no way for me to respond. So if
Yeah.
you're listening to this and you did misspell, just wanted to call out that I.
That's a good call out, Karen. It's a strong call out. Also want to thank to all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com. Click on our Amazon banner and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. We had some beauty and grooming products purchased. The 3D Vivid Plus Teeth Whitening Kit. 24 count. Those do work.
Do they?
Yeah.
I should use them because Alice reminds me every day.
I wasn't going to say anything. That
We've
was going to be a
talked about
segue. Have you talked about this on air?
Probably. Alice is deeply offensive, and I'll say she just did it to me today.
Oh my God. So this is like a recurring thing.
It's regular. So she'll go, Mommy, do you know that you have a yellow tooth? And I say, I tried it because it's just me. It's part of who I am. So I respond back and I just said, yes, thank you. I know that's how my tooth is. It takes every single ounce of me to be like, you have plaque on your teeth. Like to not like,
to do
to
what
not
I
like
do.
fire back.
Yeah.
Right. Because she's got like crumbs all over in her teeth.
Why are you letting your children wander around with crumbs in their teeth?
I mean, she had just had toast. But I mean, I'm just saying, I need to not
Peanut butter on her
retaliate.
face
Peanut
or
butter on her
whatever.
face.
Yeah.
I don't want to retaliate, even though like I am
That's
offended.
that's a bad lesson.
That's a hugely bad lesson. This
But
is
she's
what you
asking
do.
more inquisitively. It's not. She's not judging the.
But it's
you know.
almost every day now at this point. So maybe I'll try it out and see if the tooth
Just
whitening
put it
helps.
on the one
just
tooth?
the one tooth. Again, it's just who I am. I'm just. Although my mom was also like, "Did you take a fall?" She always
What?
asked me that. Yeah. Gosh, people are
To
super
be
critical.
fair.
Okay, don't comment. What are you going to say?
There's nothing wrong with your tooth.
Thank you.
But the time to have done something would have been when you were younger, likely, and your parents should have encouraged if that was something that they thought that
Yeah,
you.
what can
know,
you
but
do?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It's unknown. My mom also asked me about my nose. She's like,
Oh, I have some nose. Look at my nose.
look at my nose. This bridge, this isn't natural. I mean, I probably did fall
And
at
then
some
as I've
point.
gotten older, and we're going way off track. I've got like a cleft in my nose.
You do have a cleft in your nose.
But I think my dad has it, but it only appeared as I grew older. So
Yeah.
I don't know where this
Well,
cleft is.
your
coming
nose tends to grow a little bit longer than the rest of your body, or later than the rest of your body.
from. Okay.
So it could just be that your nose is like smooshing up and
Yeah, I
bag.
don't like it.
Here, can
I
you
don't like it.
look towards me? Oh
the-
gosh,
the
yeah.
cleft.
Gosh,
I have
it's
a cleft.
super
Well,
crooked.
now it's
You're
very
right.
pronounced.
pronounced.
I'm never going to unsee that.
Yeah,
now.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
See,
So
you didn't
nose
even fire-
job for
you're-
me.
You're improving.
Maybe we should
Normally
go
you
back
fire
to
back.
Zoom recording.
Tim has a perfect features.
Let me see your nose.
Oh, I don't.
Let me
Thank
see.
you for saying so.
Let me see.
I don't see. Yeah, no one.
No, it does look pretty crooked. Actually, turn the whole way. Oh no, it's very straight.
You know,
Yeah.
my right eyelid is much lower than my left eyebrow.
Mine is too. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? We are a perfect pair.
Yeah.
My other eye, my
Yeah.
opposite eye to Tim, does the same thing. Watch this. See?
Okay. So a lot of
and I appreciate that you're trying to dump your horrible cleft-ridden husband by immediately buttering me up, but the tooth thing would be a deal breaker for me. Again.
Oh gosh. Gosh. right, I'm going to do something about it. Send me the links to this whitening stuff.
All right. You get the links, click through our site. Also had some movies procured on 4K. Tim,
Hey.
Hard Target.
All right.
Wow, what a choice. I like that Hard Target. That's fun. That's
never
a fun
seen
watch.
Hard Target.
That's
I've
the
never seen
Jean-Claude Van Damme
It is.
Hard Target, I believe.
I imagine so.
Then we had For Rent, International Falls, which I'm not familiar with. Please Give.
Oh, very good Nicole Holofcener film.
Okay. And then Ghostbusters.
Ooh, the original?
It just says Ghostbusters.
That's gotta be
Which
the
could be
original
one
then.
of two, right?
This would be one of two films.
Just
Let's
the
hope it's
original.
the original. When we get back,
Do you hate women, Rob?
no. When we get back, our top 5 Mogul. And welcome back to Altering. We're talking about our top 5 moguls. Have our top 2 left. Well, Tim has just the
I have
one
just my
left.
number 2.
I'm sorry, Tim.
Yeah.
But Carrie, you have 2 left. What's bigger than a woodcock?
It's... Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
I just want to bathe in that for a little bit. I don't even want to make a joke. I just want to be like, ooh,
It's like...
this is good setup.
I might see my doctor because I got like a cringy vibe, like but it was only on the right side.
Yeah.
So maybe I should see a doctor about that because I'm cringing, but only partially.
Yeah, that's a stroke.
I want
having a stroke.
to have you see if you can pull that back in the future because we are currently, if you're on our Discord, we're currently thrashing about looking for possible ideas for alternate ending merchandise, and a lot of what people seem to want is like quotes from the show, quotes from my reviews on T-shirts, and a shirt that says "What's bigger than a woodcock?" Alternate ending.
That works.
I
That
want
works.
that. So
That's the
I
whole-
want that to be your catchphrase.
And it goes
That's what I'm
back
saying.
full circle to the transcriptions. It's far easier than to be able to go back and search through if you have things
Absolutely.
written out. So
Those are things I don't want to search for, but yes, that's also a good plug. Merch is coming, by the way, and coming fast and furious. So I'll share it all when we have
Coming
it.
Fast and Furious.
Let's to my
What is your
number
number
2. My number 2 is where I switch it up, and this is where it's like, gosh,
Your number 2 is where those worms were earlier, right?
nice.
I don't even know where to go from there. There were no worms. We'll talk about that on our next. We're not talking about this. That's right. We're not talking about this ever again. But no, I did not actually have worms. In case you missed that episode and how that
Also, it's
resolved
a real
itself.
pity that this is a podcast, not a video cast, because the look I just got from Carrie, I'm a little surprised that I'm not dead. I'm surprised I didn't just spontaneously die when you shot me that look. That was your number 2.
My number 2. So this one, I honestly cannot think of her name right at this exact moment, but she is powerful. And when I say powerful, I mean she could take us all down in a heartbeat. She can take the entire planet down. She can take the universe down. She can do everything with just herself and her hands. And I think that's really cool. And I'll tell you who she is. She is a gal who is played by do you
different
remember
gal.
that show Full House? There's those 2 twins that are in it. They have a little sister. Mm-hmm. What's her name?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Exactly. Elizabeth Olsen. That is my number 2.
from
Elizabeth
what
Olsen is the Scarlet Witch.
I don't know what you're saying.
What do you mean?
What are you saying? I don't understand.
I feel
I'm
so
talking-
bad that I thought that Reynolds Woodcock was going to be where your list bottomed out.
Oh no! This is the most powerful Marvel character of all time. She's she's the most
So we're doing powers?
power. She's powerful.
She is like literally an orphaned poor orphan
From some sort of backwater East European country.
Sokovia.
No, but so hang on. Let me go back to my definition here. A person who possesses a great deal of what? Power. And she can take off. So, and here's the other thing I did. I did a lot of research.
What is she a mogul of?
Power. A power mogul.
Power mogul.
A death mogul.
Death mogul. Yeah.
Life and death.
Here's the
Life
thing.
and death
Here's
mogul.
the thing, Rob. When we put whichever Avengers film she wants me to put on the actual list, people will assume she's talking about Tony Stark, and it will seem fine until you actually listen to the show,
right?
Which hopefully by this point most people have stopped.
Yeah.
No, but
in what movie does she showcase her mogulness? You're actually picking?
What would you pick? Is the
I
question.
wouldn't. I would not have her on this list. This is the one that I would pick.
No, but here's the thing. I know why you think Tony Stark, but here's the thing. I actually did a lot of research on this, and I looked at every other list because I was like, gosh, who is the most powerful? First, I thought it was Thanos. It's not. She's more powerful than Thanos because she's actually able to affect Thanos in a negative way. So then I was looking. She's always at the number one. And here's the other thing. There's somebody called All-in-One. There's a Marvel character named like All-in-One or something like that. Hole-in-One. I don't know.
We're going to get so many messages of comic book readers hating this.
No. They're gonna love the research I've done. There's a couple that are more powerful, but they are not seen in Marvel movies. So as far as the Marvel movies go, the one that has the most power, and this, I'm not saying this myself, these are Marvel lovers that say this, she is the most powerful. And so that's why I was like, gosh, she's got all this power she's wielding with just her two hands.
I'll let someone write in and disagree.
Does she is she like an independent contractor? Does she have any sort of like business?
Yeah.
Does she at least have like a taxpayer ID number?
I think she deals with jewels and gems because she also has the power of love. Isn't she also in the relationship with Vision?
Yes.
Right.
So
right.
I don't even think she's the most powerful. If we're just talking pure power, based on the movies that we've seen to date, I know they're setting her up to be more powerful. Captain Marvel is the most powerful.
Mm-mm. That's what people think that don't know Marvel.
Okay. I'm just saying in the cinematic universe that we've seen thus far, that is the most powerful
is Captain
superhero.
Marvel, the guy in the wheelchair? No, that's X-Men. The Captain Marvel,
Brie Larson.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. Way to assume that Captain has to be a man.
That's not what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, you probably hate women almost as much as your Ghostbusters hating husband does. Is what
I'm the only one that has a lady on my list, right?
That's true. This is true.
She also makes my ladies.
Tim had Mildred Pierce.
I did.
The hamburger queen.
That's a woman? Okay.
Oh my gosh. Moving on to Tim's. Or actually, Tim, do you want me to go number 2 and then leaves one for you, or what do you want to do?
I mean, we just took a break. Do you really actually have to go?
Hey, well, actually, mine segues actually really well, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
All right. So let's actually talk about who the most Moguliest person is in the Avengers, and that is Iron Man, who is wealthier than Bruce Wayne.
But Scarlet would take him down. Oh, you're going off wealth. That's
I'm going
right.
off of the topic of the show.
You're going off wealth.
That was my weird little
metric
thing that I decided to do.
Of power, right.
But Tony Stark is a really cool mogul. I put him as cooler. I like his arrogance, but it's arrogance hiding insecurity. But he's also...
Is it?
I don't know if it is.
I don't think so.
I don't think he's insecure.
I think he's just pure
arrogance. But he can... Yeah. Like, he says what his talent is, like, in one of the... I forget what it is, which movie it is, but what's your superpower? And says, I'm rich. I love it.
I hate that.
That's a great line.
I hate that.
That's a good line.
But honestly, that's what makes me like him so little, because I really do believe that his arrogance is genuine.
So you actually do dislike Batman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
I don't like that. I don't like that, like, ooh, I think that I can do more and have more and be more just because I have all those things.
But it's accurate.
It's
a correct belief based in facts.
And wealth is always built on nefarious things.
That's correct. He's indeed a arms dealer
and
potentially a war criminal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's who you look up to. That's who you admire.
This is why I could not put Tony Stark on my list, because he is indeed involved in one of the most sordid of all money-making schemes the world has ever witnessed, which is arms dealing.
Oh, I should have done that Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet.
Which one?
Yeah, Lord of War.
Lord of War?
Yeah. That's good. He's a warmonger.
Is he a mogul in that too?
Yeah.
He's a mogul. He's got a big empire full of selling weaponry to all sides in all wars.
I'm glad we're seeing your priorities, Rob, though. It's nice when they really shine through.
So
I'm glad that your priority was putting moguls on your list of top 5 moguls.
Thank you, Tim, for recognizing that.
People are going to agree with me.
No, they are not.
You don't think so?
I'm excited to hear from someone who agrees that Scarlet Witch is on your list.
I kind of want to take a time out because I feel worse about my number 1.
Wow. I don't know where it
This
goes.
is exciting.
It comes from a good place.
Is your number 1 God himself?
I don't know, Tim. I don't know. It could be.
We are at your number 1.
Oh.
So you can share it.
Well, no, we're my number 2.
You go to your number 2.
If you'd like to.
I would like
and then we'll take that break so I can think about it.
So oh my. So my number 2 takes us to the world of World War II, 1943 film. And you may or may not know this, in World War II, there was, a whole lot of the industry of the country and just the infrastructure of the country was turned over to the war effort. And one of the things this triggered was a housing crisis in the area around military bases where there were too many young men being trained to sort of absorb, for the local communities to absorb the number of just young soldiers who were being rushed in and out of these camps. And so this film, 1943's The More the Merrier, starts by having one of the most powerful, wise, influential power brokers in the United States, a certain character named Mr. Dingle, coming to Washington, D.C. To render his Carrie, that's his name.
Wait, you're saying the mogul's name is Mr. Dingle?
Mr. Dingle.
Is it Linus Dingle?
I don't believe we're given his first name.
Okay.
He's played by Charles Coburn, who's one of the great patrician actors in America. It's sort of big, beefy looking fellow, very round body, very round face, very sort of stentorian patrician voice. And Mr. Dingle is arrived in, you know what? Scarlet Witch.
I'm so sorry. I just the great and powerful Mr. Dingle. I just can't stop picking.
All right.
So good. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, here's the thing
Keep
about
going.
Mr. Dingle. He actually wields political influence, which is something that Mr. Woodcock does not.
Maybe fair.
So Mr. Dingle has arrived in Washington, D.C. to consult with the president. He has the ear of presidents. The president is going to listen to what he has to say about the housing crisis and act on it. So incredible amount of influence. He's again, sort of a behind-the-scenes guy, which I think all the best moguls are. They're not out there in front. They're not being big, showy circus clowns like that fuckwit Elon Musk. They're just moving the chess pieces around because they have so much power and influence they don't even need to be seen and present. So that's who this man is.
I agree with that.
And how does he spend all of this influence that he has? And how does he use his world-changing ability to influence people in the movie The More the Merrier? He tries to hook up a soldier with his landlady because he thinks that would be cute.
Wow.
And that's this movie. It's one of my very favorite romantic comedies.
Say the title one more time.
The More the Merrier, directed by George Stevens. Joel McCrea plays a man who will be going to war very shortly. As I said, Charles Coburn plays Mr. Dingle, who, because of the housing crisis, has to rent a room from a woman played by Jean Arthur. Is it Jean Arthur? I think it's Jean Arthur. And it's like the three of them are all crammed into not nearly enough space in a little rooming house. And Mr. Dingle decides, wouldn't it be really super cute if I got this GI and my landlady to make babies? And it's very sweet.
What year is this from?
1943.
1943.
Right. It's in the midst of the crisis it's talking about.
Okay.
So very, very great film about World War II, from World War II, with just, again, one of the most powerful men in America who controls the fate of nations, deciding that a better use of his time would be to matchmake. And it's very sweet.
That is very
I like
sweet.
It is sweet. That sounds good. Actually, something I might like.
All right, Karen, number one. You've had time.
Are you done?
No, I have one left.
You have your one left.
Mine's the true number one.
No.
So
No.
we'll save it.
This one, again, I did feel really good about it. Just earlier today, before we started recording, I felt really good about it. But again, I was trying to go with the pinnacle of power. And again, Tim just keeps ruining my list, but I did go with
by the way,
God.
Mr. Dingle's first name is Benjamin. He does have
Benjamin.
a first
Ben
name.
Dingle.
Ben Dingle.
Ben Dingle. Oh, great.
Ben Dingle.
So you went with. So
I
Tim
did
has
go
now
with
ruined
God.
all of your picks.
He has ruined all
He's
of
been
my
able to
picks.
guess.
But maybe that's a good thing because
What?
it just
So
means my list
you
is
think
so
of
on
God
par.
as a mogul?
He's closer
For
to being
sure.
he's the mogul of heaven. He could very easily run
true.
it like
Again,
a business.
this is power. This is industry. Hey, you don't behave, you're not coming in. He's basically saying
gatekeeper.
he's the gatekeeper of the world, basically. Can you imagine something more powerful than that? No.
I will say this: God feels like an upswing after Scarlet Witch.
Yes, you're heading
See?
in the right direction.
This is
now.
why it's my number one. He's like the CEO of the universe. That's
Which-
what I look
which
at it as.
specific cinematic incarnation of God?
It was tough for me, so that's where I was like, gosh, do I go with... I started with God. I was like, God's got to be my number one. And then you don't see him a lot, though, or her, or whatever God is. You don't see God manifested very often. So I almost went with Dogma, because God, Alanis Morissette, remember? Is that a spoiler? Maybe.
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
people know that about that film.
But then I was like, what's to me, growing up my entire life, there was only one movie that represented God to me in addition to having God in it. And that is the 1956, The 10 Commandments. God.
All right.
So as a bush.
Yeah, he's a burning bush. How did you know that?
Because I'm familiar slightly with like religious doctrine and
I'm so proud of
the
you.
texts.
So here's what I expected to happen. Let me tell you what I thought was going to happen. I thought I was going to be like the 10 Commandments. And then I thought you guys were going to be like, ha, ha, ha. There's no God in that. God we don't ever see. And then I was going to say, yeah, guys, he's a burning bush and he's controlling the weather and the mountainsides with fire. And that is the manifestation of God. And that is where
To
we see
give
him.
God, the burning bush, a bigger voice, they actually used several people's voices to sort of create a composite God, definitely including Charlton Heston's voice. And I think also including Cecil B. DeMille's voice, because they was like, haha, he's the director, we'll make him the voice of God. So
Cecil B. DeMille was the director of the Ten Commandments?
Cecil B. DeMille directed the Ten Commandments.
Wow.
2 mind-blowing things that I've just learned.
How is it news that Cecil B. DeMille
Well,
directed? That's like
it's
his
news
thing.
from, I thought he directed like silly things.
I would not feel that
That
Ten
is-
Commandments
that's not-
is
it's
free
one
of
of the
the,
sense.
the charge
Yeah.
of being silly.
Okay.
Here's something you guys don't know about
He does
me.
these massive campy epics, yes.
Yes. Okay.
I was Cecil D. DeMille in a play when I was in 5th grade.
What
Wow.
play?
I don't know.
What was it like?
It was like, remember Charlie Chaplin and Cecil D. DeMille. And then I had to like come out and I was like taking a cane and swirling
Well, that
it
would have
around.
been
That would have made you a Charlie
Chaplin. Yeah.
Man. No, I'm pretty sure. Maybe the person next to me was. I was
I
for
want to
sure
see. You know what?
Cecil
You would
D.
look
DeMille.
really cute with a little mustache.
You think so?
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
would cover up the tooth.
should I just not?
So in the film, I like it. I was going to go a place, but I don't want to step on Rob's joke.
It's cruel but true. Cruel but true. I could just let it like hang out.
You got to redirect, you know?
But no, I was going to say in the 1950 film Sunset Boulevard, Cecil DeMille plays himself, and Gloria Swanson plays a character who disguises herself very briefly as Charlie Chaplin. So you do get to see what Chaplin looks like as a lady, and also see what Cecil B. DeMille looks like. So,
I think I'm just confusing it with Cecil
B. Demented.
Demented. I think that's what
which
I'm
is
doing.
named in honor of Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening for me.
Yeah, no, DeMille's whole thing was these massive epics, like
Okay.
big ass cast of thousands, 3-hour running time sort of movies.
But not B movies.
No.
Okay, that
These
was
are
my.
very
That's why I
expensive
was
A
confused.
pictures.
Okay.
Very expensive A pictures.
Yeah.
Speaking of very expensive, my number one. I mean, I guess
It's not the Ten
as
Commandments?
close to
Not
God.
God?
As you can get
Uh-oh.
is a movie
don't
that is
say.
a children's movie,
Okay.
but not animated,
Okay.
but represents the wealthiest character I'm familiar with in either comic book lore or film. Honestly, Any guesses?
Richest comic
Came out in
book
the
character.
90s. Yeah, came out in the 90s. Starring
than
one
God?
of one of 90s greatest child actors, beloved child actors of the 90s.
Gosh, Corey.
I'm a little surprised this didn't make Carrie's list, honestly.
I don't think. I wonder if
I
she's
bet I
never seen
forgot.
it. We talked about Hamburger Moguls. What if this person was so wealthy that they had a McDonald's in their house?
Who has that?
Richie Rich
indeed.
does. Richie Rich has it. Played by Macaulay Culkin
Richie
in the Richie Rich motion picture.
I forgot about
Richest
Richie
person
Rich.
next to Santa Claus. You want to know who's wealthier than
Oh,
Richie
I
Rich?
forgot about Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is a
Shit.
mogul.
I forgot Santa
Present
Claus.
mogul.
God damn.
Could have had that on the list, Gary.
Ah, what a miss.
So-
What a miss.
Yeah, this one got a lot of play in my house as well too. Mostly because I think this is how I think friendship should work.
How? Tell me how.
You pay to have friends, and then they learn to like you, but you can't get them to like you initially.
Mm-hmm.
But then they learn about your character after you've paid them to come play at your house. So this is about Richie Rich. He's got the perfect life, like seemingly perfect. Very scheduled, very routine. He does fencing. He plays video games. Does everything a kid could ever want, except for friends. Except for friends.
I hope you're not going to find this offensive, Rob.
Yeah.
But how do I say this in a non-offensive way? You did do this.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I was saying this.
Oh, I didn't know you explicitly said you
That's
tried to buy
that's
your
what I'm
friends,
saying.
but you have
believes,
done
He
this.
believes it is an admirable thing for Richie.
Yeah, this-
But do you
So-
still feel that way?
So what he did? No, not necessarily.
I think you do.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I love that you are hedging this.
Yeah. So what Richie Rich does is he doesn't have friends. I think he's driving to some sort of ribbon cutting ceremony and then sees just a bunch of kids playing in the urban streets, playing backyard baseball, and then
Wants in.
He wants in. He hits like a home run or something. They don't take him seriously. They make fun of him as, oh, you're the rich kid.
Why is he rich? Did you say though? You don't know.
Conglomerate.
Unknown. Okay. Conglomerate.
Wealthy, yeah, conglomerate. No, he's the wealthiest person in comics and in fictional character, other than Santa Claus. And then invites the kids to come to his compound to play baseball there and to like hang out and stuff like that.
Do
and
they
then
like
things
him
happen.
even after that?
That's what I'm saying is I think their intentions at first are to take advantage of this. Like, why not take advantage of the
Then he lets his
situation? But I
personality
also
shine
think
through.
that Richie Rich is aware that is the thing.
What a yucky feeling.
But then again, you care. I start caring about the the
He's a
people.
good person at
This
heart,
is a
too.
problem that I imagine all wealthy people have and famous people have. Is like, are you in this for me, or are you in this for something else? And then the kids end up liking him for him.
Oh, well, spoiler alert.
There's a lot more that happens in the movie.
All right. You think the kids would
It's
like
not
this?
a good movie.
Oh.
It's not a good movie at all.
Would our kids like it,
It knows
though?
it's not, though, I think. Yeah.
It's having fun with being a bad movie?
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of
Richie
product.
Rich. Your number one
product
is
placement.
Richie
you know what?
Rich.
You know who would like this? The kids would like this movie.
I just
think.
asked that
'Cause
several
it's-
times.
Oh, you did?
Like several times.
It is wish fulfillment, as I've said before with this. Is like, what would you do with a bajillion? You'd have a McDonald's. You'd have a fast food restaurant in your house. You'd have slides that connect things within your giant mansion of a home.
I think Abby would like this. Our oldest would like this. Our youngest is already like, money doesn't matter, because we were playing Life the other day, the game of Life, and I had to choose between being a fashion designer or a brain surgeon. And I was like, ooh, gosh, this is really hard. And I took the fashion.
And I hope you explained that because you're a girl, you picked fashion design.
I didn't even think about that part. Shit. I was trying to make a point. So I was like, I could make $130K if I was a brain surgeon and $70K if I was a fashion designer. And so I was like, what am I going to choose? And then I chose fashion designer, and Abby's like, that is a terrible decision. You could be making a lot more money. And I was like, you know what? But I'm really passionate about fashion. And she was like, I get your point, but that's not how the game works. I was like, fair.
She's got a head screwed on her shoulders real well. She's out there. She's playing the meta game.
Like, I get it. What you're trying to do. I get the lesson, but play the game. So
I would have guessed that the director of Richie Rich had not done anything, but point in fact, Donald Petrie was the director of Mystic Pizza, Grumpy Old Men, Miss Congeniality, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Well, that is a murderer's row of some of the best movies of the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I
Those are
don't
solid.
dislike How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I actually find it to be a very satisfying rom-com.
I agree.
I feel bad for Opportunity Knocks. Back to Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth. Little reference there. So yeah, what do you think, Tim? I feel like you were very quiet on the Richie Rich. Have you not seen it? Okay.
I haven't seen it. Probably would have made my list if I had, just because I was, as you could tell, straining for admirable rich people. And I know he is.
Yes.
But I haven't seen the movie.
All right. Well, let's check in with the audience, see if they had any Richie Rich on their list. Every week we ask you to submit your picks for our top 5 based on those submissions. Here are your top 5 picks. At number 5, we had Batman. And that is my Batman. That is the
Really?
89 Batman. yeah.
Lots of
Then we had,
wrong opinions.
much like me, tied for number 4, Iron Man. So Tony Stark from Iron Man. Also at number 4, It's a Wonderful Life, the Moguls.
See, that was an easy one for me to discard because I was only looking for admirable rich people, and he is one of the least admirable rich people in the history of cinema. He is a fucker.
Yes. At
He's
number
a dirty fuck.
At Mr. 3, we had Mr. Lebowski from The
Isn't
Big
he a
Lebowski.
bowler?
That's the point
Big
of confusion.
Lebowski.
Yeah, the Big
Big
Lebowski.
Lebowski is a mogul.
Yeah.
So
The dude
I won't
Lebowski
ask.
is a bowler.
Okay.
At number 2, which I could see maybe have been on Tim's list. I don't think you care for this film too much, but There Will Be Blood. Daniel,
Again,
whatever
not
that
an
main
admirable
character.
man. Very
Yeah.
cruel man. I like the movie quite a lot, but very, very cruel. And I will definitely say, of all the films that were directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Daniel Day-Lewis as the main character, definitely the best example of a mogul.
Okay. And at number 1, lending credence to Carrie's picks, Citizen Kane.
Oh,
All right.
Did you say Scarlet Witch earlier and I missed it?
No, that was surprisingly not
No.
on the audience top 5.
No.
Our winner this week is, ironically, Lebowski. Lebowski said, a list heavier on charisma than morals seems about... Oh, a list, not a list. A list heavier on charisma more than morals seems about right.
See, so I was out of step with this entire project.
You seemed not comfortable during this top 5. At number 1, we had Charles Foster Kane from Citizen Kane. Number 2, President Lord Business from the Lego Movie. Good pick. Jeffrey Lebowski from The Big Lebowski. 4, Noah Cross from Chinatown. And number 5, hey, look at this, Scrooge Mcduck, DuckTales, the movie. Lebowski also has a special shout out to Cyril Sneer from the 80s cartoon The Raccoons, which I remember watching very young. The Google web tells me they weren't movies, though.
They were not. They were a TV program, but very, very formative television program. I think my affection for new wave music tracks back exclusively to that film's theme song.
Lebowski, shoot us an email at contact@alternateending.com for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie rental like Lebowski, be on the lookout for our top 5 post. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Head out to our Facebook page and like it, Twitter where we're tweeting all the time, Instagram where we're Instagramming, alternateending.com and find all our movie reviews, podcasts, and more. YouTube and Facebook where we'll find all of our videos. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. And don't forget about Patreon. As I mentioned before, next week we're excited to be catching The Batman, and we're going to have former roommate and DC Comics writer Josh Elder on to discuss it, a spoiler-filled episode of that. Talk to you then.